So for how long would you want a vaccine to have been tested before you give it to your grandchildren? 10 months, 24 months? How long to be safe?
Well, I think there are examples where vaccines are completely ineffective. We know Dr. Fauci, who has been taking the lead in the U.S. with respect to this particular pandemic, has been working on trying to develop a vaccine for HIV for nearly 3 decades now. But the success of those vaccines has been elusive. And so what I would say is the first thing that's going to be important is to demonstrate that the vaccine is actually effective at generating a neutralizing response. And then that has to be scaled to enough, a large enough cohort of the population to be able to show that it doesn't induce any undesirable side effects. Some vaccines, cause this antibody-enhanced effect that can really be life-threatening and can cause death in some cases. So I would say specifically, I would say something like 18 months would be a reasonable expectation for when you could begin to vaccinate the most vulnerable members of the population who have not been previously exposed. But that would have to have taken place with considerable amount of testing in relatively large swaths of the population, thousands of people to see, are there going to be some rare events of some bad things that happen.
Good. It's very important, Professor, that you gave us a parameter, because you know what industry is like. Maybe in 10 months from now, somebody will pop up saying, "Oh, I have the vaccine," and Donald Trump would say, "Oh, that's great," and so people will believe that's a good vaccine. And in 10 months, as you said, it's going to be very unlikely that that's going to be a good vaccine. So,
what I would say is that, if there are some indications of efficacy, the effectiveness of the vaccine, and that there is have not been serious side effects, 10 months, it may be that we really do have to begin to vaccinate some of the most vulnerable people, people that are extremely old, that we know that if they get the disease would probably be unlikely to recover, because the risk may just be better. The risk benefit analysis may just be at that level. But I would say that sort of in the conventional thinking, one would not want to rush these kinds of vaccines, past. Earlier than something like an 18-month kind of time frame.
Yeah, because it's going to be very likely that legislators will force everybody to be vaccinated. So that's, it's important. What you're saying is very important. Now, we have 1 minute.